salinity and create a home-based experiment to further understand our topic. We all know that the ocean contains salt.
Do you notice how you float differently when in the sea and in the pool? This is because of the salt the ocean has. This salt affects currents and creates buoyancy.
Let's get to know more of how buoyancy is created by the ocean in our experiment. Today's experiment aims to understand how salinity affects buoyancy in the ocean. Let's start by preparing our materials. We will need 3 tall glasses labeled with masking tape and a marker. One for control, the other for salt water, and the last one for sugar water. All 3 will contain equal amounts of water. We will also need salt, sugar, and 3 eggs. Now, let's add 8 tablespoons of salt to the glass of salt water. And stir till the salt dissolves. Then add 8 tablespoons of sugar for the glass for sugar water. And stir till the sugar dissolves. The sugar and salt may not dissolve completely depending on the amount of water you started in. Carefully add an egg to each glass. Now, let's observe what happened to the egg in each glass. Remember that the density of an object determines whether it would sink or float. An object will float if it is less dense than water. An egg is denser than water, which is why the egg sinks in our control. Adding salt to the water increased the water's mass without great change to a volume, and caused the water to become denser than the egg. This is why the egg floated. Sugar is less dense than salt, but more dense than plain water. This is why the egg floated in the sugar water but not as high in the salt water. Since the ocean is naturally salty and contains salt, this is why things float easily. Normal ocean salinity is 3.5%.
The higher the salinity rate of an ocean, the easier it is to float.
From the last video, we briefly had an encounter with ocean salinity. Salinity is a water parameter that measures the concentration of dissolved inorganic salts in the water column. It is measured in part per thousand.
Understanding why the sea is salty begins with knowing how water cycles among the ocean's physical states: liquid, vapor, and ice. As a liquid, water dissolves rocks and sediments and reacts with emissions from volcanoes and hydrothermal vents. This creates a complex solution of mineral salts in our ocean basins. Evaporation of ocean water and formation of sea ice both increase the salinity of the ocean. However, these salinity-raising factors are continually counterbalanced by processes that decrease salinity, such as the continuous input of fresh water from rivers, precipitation of rain and snow, and melting of ice.
Now, let's see you try the experiment at home. Send your videos to our email and see yourself be featured in our next vlogs.